Hello, hello! What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and guess what time it is? We're here to talk about and review yet another episode of Scream, the MTV TV series. This is Season 2, Episode 10, entitled The Vanishing. Now, at the beginning of this episode, we see Emma's mom, who, oh yeah, she works at the police station to cut open dead bodies. Oh yes, that's what she does for a living. Well, she's cutting open the body of Piper, which was found at the end of the last episode, and at least she acknowledged the fact that Piper's body was slightly decayed, but not decayed enough to match the timeline of when she died. They explained that her body was taken and refrigerated, and so, okay, they explained all of that. Kudos, I will give you props when it's deserved, sure, but it's almost like I forgot until the sheriff said to Emma's mom, hey, is this okay for you to do? Because, you know, this is your own daughter that you're cutting open. Oh yeah, Piper was related to Emma, related to Emma's mother. In fact, this is Emma's mom's daughter. And she's just casually cutting her open. I mean, no emotion behind it. I mean, fuck, this actress. Give me something. You're literally cutting open your dead daughter's body, and it's just another day at work. I mean, god damn it. How great would this scene have been if it was a struggle for her? If it was like she wanted to do it herself, but it was hard for her to do it. And just give me something. Give me a struggle. Give me some conflict with your character. Be more than one-dimensional. Anyways, she cuts open the body and she finds that her heart is a pig's heart. I don't know why. I don't know how, but this is what it is. Now, we see Emma and Audrey, this whole episode, they're kind of sort of dealing with what's left of their friendship and how it deteriorated to where it is now. We have this scene where Emma is actually interrogating Audrey about what happened to our friendship. Why do you hate me as much as you did? Why did you do all that stuff with Piper? And you know what? I like this scene. I like this scene for multiple reasons, but one of the reasons is actually for Emma. I liked her in the scene. I liked that she confronted her. Like, I like that she wanted to get to the bottom of it. She tried to be mature. She tried to be the one to say, look, we were best friends at one time, so I'm going to take this moment to understand where you were coming from, to try to understand, like, why the fuck you did what you did. But me, just like Emma, wasn't really buying it. As much as I like Audrey, as much as this actress is 100 times better than anybody else in the show, I was not buying Audrey's answers. And maybe at the end of the day, she is telling the truth. Maybe everything that she said about not knowing that Piper was a killer, not knowing how far it was going and this and that, or the fact that this was all about a documentary and it wasn't really about getting back at Emma. Maybe it's true, but I'm kind of calling bullshit on it. So when Emma said, yeah, not really buying it, I said, wow, okay, Emma showed some intelligence for once. But I will give her that. Then we see Noah leaving Zoe a voicemail in the hallway at school. And sure, it was a little dorky and cheesy and corny, but I will say in high school I left many of dorky messages to girls that I liked just the same way, almost exactly the same way, so I can't really attack him for that. In many ways, I probably relate too much to Noah as far as like in high school and just being that geeky around girls. But she texts him and says, hey, let's meet up at the place, or our place. He says, yeah. He goes there, and then she's texting him to tell him where to go into the woods. Now, this scene could have worked. This scene could have been like really effective, really surprising, really intense if the previews last week didn't show him getting stabbed, didn't show virtually the payoff of all of this. You have all of like these tension-filled moments that are supposed to keep you guessing, or maybe it was going to be a complete shock surprise when when Zoe's phone calls him, and then, oh, it's the killer's voice. Maybe that could have worked. I don't want to jump down the show's throat and says that it didn't work based on the actual episode, but I will say that the people who made these commercials that advertised this episode fucked this all up. Why would you show probably the best part of the scene was Noah getting stabbed? Because maybe if they didn't already show it, and if I was just watching it, I would have thought that, holy fuck, Noah's about to get killed. Pretty much like Randy in Scream 2, where it was completely out of nowhere, completely shocking and upsetting for so many reasons. Like, it could have worked, but it didn't for me. And so then you see Emma and Audrey back in school, and they're talking about where's Noah. They get a video about him. They get a call from the killer basically saying you have to find him. And then we get a bunch of scenes of Noah, and it's almost like that Ryan Reynolds movie, Buried, where Noah is practically buried alive, and he is talking to himself about what to do, how to save his oxygen, and then he starts hallucinating and having all of these scenes with a fake Zoe being there with him, and I never really bought him and Zoe being in love, or being a couple, or just really being madly in love. Maybe it's because they're only in high school. Maybe it's because it feels like they've only known each other for like a week. Or maybe it's because I spent this whole time not trusting Zoe. So it's hard for me to fully buy that she's his true love, or that, like, to really give a fuck that he's upset when he realizes that she's not really there and all of this stuff. And they were going for some art house type feel where she's floating over him and all the, like, I'm not saying that it didn't look decent, you know, the director did a halfway decent job, but it was kind of weird. Again, it was what it was. Now the sheriff gets his own side plot that ultimately is pretty pointless in my opinion. He's investigating the barn and just investigating like where this killer could be. And honestly, I tried to get behind the sheriff. I tried to like him. I tried to get, you know, just to really fully understand why he's doing what he's doing, why he's not being more effective as a sheriff. But now, after watching Stranger Things on Netflix, which is an awesome TV show, if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend anybody go check that out. That's what a good horror TV show is like. But that show has a sheriff as well. And that sheriff is 100 times more effective, 100 times more buyable, 100 times more of a badass than any sheriff you could ever ask for. So it's hard for me to now come to this sheriff and be like, wow, dude, you're so not accomplishing anything, like, at all. Every high school kid will die on your watch. And then you get flashbacks about him and Emma's mom when they were young, and something about Brendan James, and honestly, I was tuning out because I just did not give a fuck about any of this. Maybe Brendan James is back, but if he is back, then this show is even dumber than I originally thought it was. The killer calls the sheriff and says, hey, go investigate the barn. I thought the killer calling him was stupid, just completely stupid, because, like, he ended up going to the barn by himself, which, again, dumb sheriff number 15, I guess. Who knows how many sheriffs they'll kill off. But what if he didn't go by himself? What if he brought the whole precinct? What if he brought the SWAT team? What if he brought everybody there? Like, would that have ruined everything? I don't know. I don't really know why the killer is fucking with him like this, unless it is Brendan James. And that, maybe it's all connected. Who really knows? Now, Audrey and Emma have this whole thing where Emma's trying to figure it out. She's trying to get to the bottom and say, like, why the fuck do you hate me so much? What's going on? And Audrey eventually finally reveals that Emma broke her heart. And she didn't even know that she broke her heart. And now, I don't know what Audrey means by this. Does she mean that she was in love with Emma, and Emma didn't reciprocate or didn't even acknowledge it or notice it, and that rejection ruined her? Because if that's the case, I'm calling bullshit. I mean, maybe it's possible, but, like, unless Audrey really made a full attempt at trying to date Emma or trying to say, hey, I like you, Like, you can't be mad at her for this. If you didn't come out and say, hey, I have feelings for you, then what the fuck are you mad at her for? Now, if it wasn't that, if it was more like, hey, I love you, or like as a friend, and maybe somehow Emma rejected that, which I don't know how she would have done. I don't know. Maybe there's not much more to it. Maybe that's just it. Who knows? They at least got some of that pent-up tension resolved, I guess. Now, they finally find Noah, and they dig him up, and honestly, I don't want to be a dick. I don't want to be an asshole, but when they initially found Noah, and he was alive, I thought, fuck. And not because I dislike Noah, he's fine, but because I wanted somebody to die. I'm sorry, I don't want to make it seem like I'm the most evil person in the world, where I just want to watch a show to watch people to die, but when you come to a horror TV show, or better yet, a slasher TV show that's based off of Scream movies that, even if you didn't like them all of them weren't afraid to kill off some major characters in the movie. So this show, especially this season, has not done that. They have failed to do that. And when Noah survived this, I thought, well, the show just punked out again, just chickened out again, once again, until they find that Zoe is also buried alive, and that the casket's being filled with water. So they're freaking out. They're trying to find her. They finally find the location. They see the camera, see the video, and see that they still have enough time. She's still alive. They're digging her up. They open the casket, and she's already dead. You find out that the video they had that they were watching was old, and that she had already died who knows how long ago. I will admit, that was pretty fucking great. It was great that the killer outsmarted them and is basically fucking with them, and just, I wasn't expecting that. I was genuinely surprised. It was a good reveal. So I will give them that death. Zoe has died, and I guess that also means that she was innocent. Oops! So I spent this whole time not trusting her, and poor Zoe died anyways. At the very end of the episode, we see Emma's mom leave a note at the tree that I guess is connected to her and Brendan James. She says, leave me alone. And guess who ends up being there? Weirdo number 75, a.k.a. Eli, I think his name is. Holy fuck, I think I remember his name. A.k.a. Kieran's cousin. Now, maybe it's a red herring. Maybe it's like, oh, he's just being really stalkerish and really obsessed with Emma, and maybe he's not the killer, but motherfucker, he better be the fucking killer. He's too fucking weird. It's too fucking convenient that he's here, or that he's been missing the last couple episodes and he just shows up at that time. He better be the killer. He has to be the killer. Him and Stavo, weirdo number 2, they both have to be the killer. Otherwise, again, if it's Brendan James, then this show has really jumped the shark. Yes, they have. Anyways, guys, ultimately, this wasn't that bad of an episode. It wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst thing ever. So, guys, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later. Please won't you say my